All right.
Society is a really judging place, whether from the past when people were judged by their skin color or religion, or to present day when people were judged by clothing and wealth. Andrew Smith once said, "People fear what they do not understand." This is probably a reason why homosexuality is a very controversial topic today. This was also explained while Prop 8 and a bunch of other issues have come up regarding this. If people understood this was not others choosing to go against the natural order, but a biological condition, maybe it would be more acceptable in society today. So proof that homosexuality is a biological condition is that even though people are raised by heterosexual parents, some still choose to identify themselves as homosexual. In the case of twins, identical twins, Patrick and Thomas, Thomas is the typical roughhousing boy who likes to get into trouble and shows a lot of masculine traits. Patrick, on the other hand, loves Barbie dolls and likes to tell his classmates he's a girl. Patrick is showing signs of childhood gender nonconformity, or CGN. This is where at a young age, boys will demonstrate feminine traits while girls will demonstrate masculine. Though not all homosexual people experience this at a young age, those who do, it is said that 75% of them will grow up to be homosexual. Boston University psychiatrist Richard Pilliard and Northwestern University psychologist J. Michael Bailey did further studies into the correlation between homosexuality and twins. Their studies revealed that identical twins, with one of the twins identifying as homosexual, had a 50% chance of the other twin also being homosexual. For fraternal twins, however, this was only 20%. So this shows that because of the identical twins' similar genetic makeup, they were more likely to both be homosexual. The evidence was once again repeated and proven to be true, showing again that genetics would be the cause of homosexuality. Another example was studies about the brain and hormones that were playing into determining homosexuality. In 1991, a neuroscientist in San Diego, Simon LeVay, found a key difference in homosexual and heterosexual brains. A tiny clump of neurons at the anterior hypothalamus, which is believed to control sexual behavior, was twice the size in heterosexual men as in homosexual. He did further studies and realized that the anterior hypothalamus in the homosexual men were actually the same size as in women. Another discovery was made in 1993 by Dean Hammer. Many people refer to this discovery as the gay gene. He found that the gay gene was where the brothers shared a gene of a specific region of the X chromosome called the XQ28 chromosome, and that at a much higher rate, gay men shared this combination with them with their straight brothers. Another example was in animal testing that yielded biological proof. The neuroendocrine studies hypothesized that sexual orientation is determined by early levels of prenatal androgen hormones. If highly exposed to these androgen hormones, the fetus will become masculinized or attracted to females. This was tested on rats, and then it yielded the result that if an adult female rat received male typical levels of androgen sufficiently early in development, they were attracted to other females. In reverse, the same was true for males. The females exhibited high levels of aggression and even attempted to mount other females. The exposed males, on the other hand, became submissive and willing to receive the sexual acts of other male rats. Another study was involved with changing the animals with fruit flies. Scientists in Vienna isolated a master genetic switch that, when switched on, females would try to mate with other females, ignoring the attempts of other males and even adopting the elaborate courting dance and mating songs that males used. In conclusion, homosexuality is a biological product rather than a product of one's environment. With the proof of studies of twins showing that one twin raised in the same environment as the other can be homosexual and the other not, the evidence that the biological similarities showed it was more likely for both twins to be gay when the studies of identical and fraternal twins are taken into account. The correlation between homosexuality and the hypothalamus in the brain, and the prenatal and androgen hormones, and lastly, the studies of how altering genetics can make animals exhibit homosexual behavior. So, in conclusion, it is a biological, not an environmental issue.
All right, I'm going to work backwards for a second because at the end of the speech I think you have a pretty clear claim of what your argument is, and your review kind of summarizes what the main points were. If that had been at the beginning of the speech, this would have been so much easier to follow, because from the very beginning I know what the subject area is, but I don't know what the inference is that you're making, and all of the information is just being strung together, and another study, and other research suggests, and these people found, and a study done here, and it doesn't really sound like the information is being used to make any inferences. It's just being randomly presented. I think you do have a structure here, but one of the differences, like I've said before, between a speech and a paper is that people, if they are trying to organize something in their head, they can look at something and see how it fits together with what's coming up or what they've just read. But when you're listening to something, it needs to be clear from the very beginning. So I think the opening of the speech creates some problems for you. At the end of the speech, I think you rescue it a little bit because the summary kind of goes back, and if people are listening at the end, you know, they can go back and say, okay, I can kind of see how this information is supposed to be put together. Sometimes the supporting claims need, you know, they're just the citation of what the information is on that point. Don't forget to tell us what the inference is. The data is not the claim itself, it's supporting the claim. So the study of the twins tends to suggest that there's a genetic cause of homosexuality. The hypothalamus information suggests that there are biological factors that are involved here. The tests done on animals indicate that genetic manipulation can produce these results, which also proves that there is a genetic relationship to homosexuality. So don't just talk about what the data is, but tell us what the inference is on each of those claims, and I think that would be a little bit better. I thought you did a nice job citing the sources for your information early on the twin studies. On the animal studies, I thought it was a little inconsistent in terms of citation. Sometimes, like I said, you just are giving data. It's paced pretty well, and I think your audience contact could be a little bit stronger, but the projection of your voice is fine, all those sorts of things. So like I said, it was just rocky for me from the beginning because you don't have a structure set up at the outset, and at the end it's a little clearer. Thank you.